Hey guys, it's Brianna and welcome to my channel. Now today's video is actually going to be a little bit different. I haven't made an astrology video on this channel in quite some time. It's probably been since like 2022, but I've been wanting to make one. I just haven't found like the opportunity or like the video idea. However, I made a TikTok like literally today, maybe yesterday, explaining like that according to astrology, I'm gonna get married in 2030 and like, sorry, I smell something weird, and have my first kid in either 2028 or 2031. And people are like, Brianna, what? Like, how do you know this? How do you calculate it? How do you find it out? And that's kind of going to be the topic of today's video. And that is like how to calculate when you might get married or have children using astrology. I will say, bear with me, you guys. I am not a professional astrologer, and this video is going to be kind of messy. I don't really know how to put it together. So if you're really interested in this, I'm going to give you like my heart and soul on how I do this. I do know a good chunk of astrology since like 2019. 2019, I really started getting like learning and teaching myself about astrology. I mostly do Western astrology, not like, so like, yeah, I don't do Vedic astrology at all. So bear with me, you guys. Firstly, this is all free. You can do this if you have the internet connection and like a computer. Yeah, so we are going to be, firstly, we're going to be looking at a few different things. So we're going to be looking at our birth chart. We're going to be looking at our transit chart. We're going to be looking at our zodiacal releasing, and it's going to be a lot. So you guys need to have patience, and you can feel free to comment, and I will go over more in the comments, or I'll make TikToks about it, blah, 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 blah. So make sure you follow me on all platforms. It's at Brianna Gorski. Link in the description to all my socials. Anyways, what was I saying? And then we're going to look at solar return. Wait, no. I forgot what the other, secondary progressions, I think is what it's called. I might be wrong. It's like 7 p.m. right now, but we're going to look at all that. So another thing you will need to be able to do this, sorry to the folks who are like adopted or just don't know, you will need to know your date of birth, your exact location of birth, and you will need to know the exact time of your birth down to the minute. It will be listed on your birth certificate. If you don't have one, and you've been adopted, I have heard like along the astrology grapevine that there are like professional astrologers who can get you down to that time pretty much. So you can look into that. I don't know how much that is. But anyways, yeah, so you'll need to know that information. Anything else? Date of birth, location of birth. No, that's pretty much it. Yeah. It's like I said, this video is going to be messy. I'm going to try my best, you guys. Bear with me. If you have questions in the comments, please try to make your question as clear as possible, and I will get to them. I might make a part 2. I'll probably follow through with this on my TikTok. But anyways, like this is going to be a series. I'm only doing like marriage and children for today. I can do more. I just like, you would have to make a request, and enough people would have to make a request. Okay, let me stop yapping and get into it. Okay. So your first step is to go to astroseek.com, and you are going to look up like astroseek.com birth chart calculator, and you're going to put your information in. And yeah, I'm giving you like my exact date of birth. Might I blur it out later? Maybe. I don't care. Anyways, this is for when I'm famous, so you guys know my time of birth. So you could put it into your information, and you could do your own astrology readings on moi. I'll be looking on my favorite astrology reader accounts in the future. Love you. Okay, anyways. So right now we're going to be looking at our, you know what? Yes. Oh my God. It wasn't secondary progressions. It's annual profections. So if you saw what I just clicked on, we're going to go to this. Okay. And your annual profections, This is like really simple. We're just trying to figure out who, or not who specifically, when we're going to get married, right? I could go into who, but like I'm not really a pro on that. I just want to know when. I already have my standards set, you know? Okay, so annual perfections are kind of like what the heck is going on? Like, what's the basic theme for you at each year in your life? So, for example, I just turned 21 years old. So, I am currently in a 10th house perfection year, which is my 10th house year is ruled by Jupiter. So, the 10th house is kind of like about career, your reputation, your public image, authority figures, and it's in Jupiter, which is a benefic sign. So like positive things are happening with me in the public eye this year, which is so slay. Anyways, so with annual perfections, if you want to find out when you might get married, you're going to want to look towards Saturn, because Saturn can represent commitment. You'll also want to look to a 7th house year, because the 7th house represents marriage and partnerships. So, for example, according to my annual perfections, I could get married at 30 years old. Let me find my Saturn years. I forgot what Saturn looks like, what the symbol. Okay. I could get married at 31. And hold on. Oh, I can't see. And I could also get married at 32. So yeah, just be mindful. Okay, what's going on? Okay. Just be mindful that this is like pretty loose. This is not like, this is very basic, kind of like very basic predictions. Okay. This is simple shit. Okay. This is really simple. Like, this is the simplest form of figuring things out. As for when you could meet your next partner, you'll want to look at a Venus ruled year. So for me, my next Venus ruled year would be when I'm 23. And I did meet people when I was 16. I think I had my first boyfriend when I was 16. And that also corresponds, so with Venus or the 5th house. The 5th house can rule like having fun, like pleasurable things. And it could also be the 7th house. Yeah. So you can also look to your Mars house, because that can represent passion and sex. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sadie, what are you barking at? Anyways, so yeah, oh, I forgot to mention, children. 8th house can represent when you might have a child, and the 5th house can also represent when you might have a child. The 8th house, because it's like after the 7th house, and, it kind of represents like birth, death, so that sort of thing, which is interesting because if you heard the intro, like one of my predictions is that I could have my first child at 31, and that is in my 8th house perfection year. Also the 5th house, and 28 is also on there, the other year. And I said, actually, I didn't say, oh my God, I wasn't talking about age. I was talking about years, but that's just interesting that it's kind of there anyways. So now, like I said, like this is the absolute like basic prediction. Like this is the least complicated one, shockingly. So next we're gonna learn a little about a transit chart. So a transit chart is, okay, so the blue here, the blue on the inside circle is your birth chart. And the orange is the places of the planets in this moment, or if I were to move the date, the planets in a different moment. So when you're looking at a transit chart trying to calculate when you might meet a partner or get married, you're going to look for certain transits. So first of all, a big one is Venus transiting your 5th house. So the next time Venus is in Libra, during that time, I could meet my next boyfriend or partner, whatever. And same goes for when Venus is transiting my 7th house. So the next time Venus is in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius rules my 7th house. So you can just look up like when Venus's transits are and figure out when that could happen. You can also do it on this website, and I believe you click on Astro Tools and maybe planetary cycles or aspects and transits. I don't know. We're not really going to do that now. So that's one way when you could meet someone. It can also be when Venus is transiting your natal Uranus. So that's like, because Uranus represents like fast, unexpected things. So you could get into a relationship unexpectedly or something like that. I would also say Venus transiting your sun, because the sun is kind of like shining a light on your whole chart, like what's happening. And Venus represents love and relationships. So like maybe if it's your first relationship, that could happen or first relationship in a while, or like you manifesting your dream partner, like your soulmate, that could be represented by Venus transiting your sun. So like Venus conjunct your sun. And conjunction is when like your sun and Venus are in the same sign. So I have an Aquarius sun, so that would be when Venus now enters the sign of Aquarius. And I do not think Venus is in Aquarius. Oh, it is. Oh my God. Say less. So technically right now, I could potentially enter a relationship because Venus actually just entered the sun. And so did Mars, quite frankly. And like before, like what I said, like Mars can represent sex, passion. So when it's transiting your sun, like your sun's kind of lighting up that area of your life. So yeah, like I'm actually at a prime period for that to be happening. Although my sun is at, my sun sign is at 18 degrees. So if I fast forward it a little bit to look at the degrees of Mars and Venus. Let me speed it up a little bit. Okay, so technically it could happen anytime from like March 2nd to like March 8th. I could meet a person because the degrees of my Venus and Mars signs are approximately at the exact same point as my natal. So like the time of my birth, my sun degrees, which is 18 degrees. So yeah, that's kind of that. What else could be an indicator? For marriage, if you are looking about like when you might get married, which is kind of what the whole video was about, that could be when Venus is transiting your Saturn sign, because Saturn is like commitment and everything. Also when Venus goes into 7th house, because that's partnerships, commitment. It could be when Saturn transits your 7th house, because 7th house is once again is partnership, commitment. It could also be when Jupiter, because Jupiter can represent the husband, or the partner, the masculine energy in the relationship, when Jupiter transits your 7th house. So kind of a lot with that. As for children, when you could have your child, that could be 5th house transits. So the moon, especially if you're a female, because the moon represents motherhood. So when the moon is because the moon is a very fast moving planet, I would say when the moon is exactly conjunct, like, oh God, I would say like your descendant. So your descendant line is like your family, your home. Your ascendant is you. But like your descendant is like your family kind of. So if your moon exactly transits your descendant, even it could just be like moon in It could be moon exactly conjuncting, so the exact same degree as Jupiter, your Jupiter sign. So what do I have Jupiter in? Leo. Yeah, so it could be when my moon goes into the sign of Leo, it could happen. Also when your moon is conjunct Saturn, because Saturn is commitment. It's like authority figures. So those are different ways that, yeah. Also, I would say Saturn going into the 8th house. 8th house is birth, and Saturn is kind of like, you could get pregnant when Saturn or Jupiter goes into your 8th house, I would say. So, because Jupiter is expansion, and 8th house is like birth, life, blah, 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 blah. Also, if Jupiter goes into your 1st house, because the 1st house is appearance, and Jupiter expands, so you could get pregnant then. Also, Jupiter or Saturn in the 4th house could also be that, because it's like the 4th house represents the home and the family. So that as well. There's a lot to kind of process here, and it could really be any of those things. And it's also like divine timing too. And you have every sort of free will in your life possible. So thumbs up to you guys. Okay, now we're going to go on to the most complicated way of figuring this out. Guys, bear with me because I'm still like processing like this. This is called zodiacal releasing. And guys, it's such a complicated technique. You're going to have to do more information, but I'll tell you what I know. And this is the only one where I'm like, do not like hold me 100% to my word on this. While I'm confident in like all the other stuff I just said, this is very, very, very advanced astrology. And I'm just going to give it to you real. Like, you guys want to know. If you're an obsessive girly like me, you want to know. So I'm going to tell you, and this could be the most accurate. What zodiacal releasing is basically like, girl, I can't even describe it to you, but it's like a timing technique. That kind of lays everything out in chapters, kind of like a nice little book. However, like reading it and translating what the fuck is happening is very difficult. So you might have to do your own research. So, girl, I don't even know how to find it on here. Well, we're just gonna have to look together, I guess. This video is like really chaotic, but sometimes like I feel like something like this is just what you need. I'm just kind of throwing this together because I gotta support my people, you know? Okay, where is it now? Maybe it was up here. I gotta support my obsessive girlies. Like, you know, we gotta do... I can't even find it. I'm gonna look it up. And see, this is... Okay, here it is. So, let me just put in my information again. Shit, I'm gonna have to blur that out. Okay, well, not that, but I'm gonna have to blur out my actual location. Because unfortunately, you guys can't know everything about me. I'm blurring this out. Note to self. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to release firstly from our law of fortune. Don't touch anything else. Just that, okay? Okay, so... bear with me, you guys. Okay, so your law of fortune, there's like 3 different options we can choose, lots to choose from. The law of fortune is kind of things that happen with divine timing, things that are out of your control. So this could be like health matters. I don't really like to mess with the law of fortune. It's not my favorite, but I'm going to use this as an example for you guys. So my lot of fortune is in the sign of Virgo. So anytime my lot of fortune is in Virgo, that is a peak period, a major peak period in my life, okay, for a lot of fortune things. So for example, when was the most recent one? Well, It's been a while, hasn't it? So when I was born, my peak period was in Virgo, major peak period. Like, I don't control when I'm born. I actually did have a lot of like health issues when I was a baby. But anyway, so there's like a peak period for me, and as when it was in the sign of Virgo. Now, Virgo is a mutable sign. So any mutable sign will also represent a peak period with a lot of fortune. So for example, that's Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius as well. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But yeah, so for example, how old am I now? God, I'm like losing my mind. Okay, so in September of this year, I will be in another peak period. So like major life events surrounding like a lot of fortune themes. So this could be health related. It's like all about like divine timing related things. So like fortune, like fortunate things it can be. So yeah. More about this. Okay. So the period before a peak period, that is going to be a preparatory period. So for me, that'll be fixed signs, because fixed signs come before mutable signs. So yeah, that's like a preparatory period for when I'm getting prepared for this peak moment in my life. Now, here's where we find out if it's going to be positive or a little bit challenging. So go back to your birth chart, right? And figure out if you have a night chart or a day chart, okay? So if you have a day chart, your sun will be in the top half of your chart. So that's houses 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if you have your sun in the houses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, that's a night chart. So I have a day chart, okay? And that means that I have a day chart. That means my benefic planet, my good planet, my positive planet is Jupiter, and my malefic, so like my more challenging planet, is Saturn. And if you are a night chart, so your sun is in the houses 1 through 6, your benefic planet is Venus, and your malefic planet is Mars, okay? So for the purpose of this video, we're going to be looking at my planets, okay? So we're going to look firstly at my benefic planet, which is Jupiter in the sign of Leo. And Leo is a fixed sign. So anytime when I'm looking at my lot of fortune, this is zodiacal releasing, anytime there's a fixed sign, that will be a positive period, like a good period for a lot of fortune, divine timing, like fortunate things that are kind of just happen for me. All right. And and so then I have Saturn in a mutable sign in Gemini. So that means anytime I'm going through a lot of fortune, anytime I have like a period that's a mutable sign, it'll be more challenging. And that does kind of line up with my peak periods. So awkward. But like sometimes the journey can be more fun, right? And that's what it is for some people. So yeah. Let me see if I can give you guys an example. Girl, I couldn't even tell you what like LB, actually, you know what, I could. So like LB is the loosening of the bonds. And from what I know, like that is a major life transformation. And when you look here, mine is during a peak period, because Virgo, Pisces are both mutable signs. And I can tell you for a fact that during 2020, practically right around this time, I had my spiritual awakening and my life changed in 2020. I've talked about this on my channel before, and it's just crazy that that's pretty much the exact date that it happened. pretty much. I would say it happened like maybe a month earlier, but I really got into it around that time. And I think like my first ever like manifestation journal was dated, I think maybe July or late June of 2020. So yeah, like that was a huge, huge moment in my life. And it's signified here by the LB, loosening of the bonds. So not everyone will have like a big thing like that. And so once you go into that, you can click on like, so let's go into the one I'm in now. And you can go farther into the lots and they just break it down by smaller sections. So it's like narrower dates within one section. So it's like, where the fuck are we now? I'm like right here. So I'm just in like a whatever period. I guess it's called like a culmination maybe. So like a completion kind of period where it's just like whatevs. It's whatevs, you know? Anyways, but yeah, enter a positive period starting in March, and you can go even further into detail if you'd like, even closer down to the time and date. Where are we now? Today's the 21st. Yeah, so I'm about to enter a peak period for like 2 days, I guess. That's fun. Okay, now that we've talked about that, we're gonna go into our law of spirit. Now, this one's kind of fun, guys. This one's a little bit fun, okay? So the law of spirit represents like life and career matters that you have control over. Like this is a lot of it, it's like career based, okay? So, so my lot of spirit is in the sign of Aries, and Aries is a cardinal sign. So we're basically just going to apply what we did before, but like the signs are a little swapped up. So any cardinal signs are going to be peak periods for me. And so mutable signs will be my preparatory period. And once again, like challenging times for me are for mutable signs because of Saturn and Jupiter. That's kind of all the same. So yeah, just the timing of peak periods will be a little different here because it's in a different sign. So let's find where I am right now. I am in a preparatory period right now. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of that. I don't really need to get too much into that. I mean, where are we now? I would say it feels like prep period. Yeah, I mean, see, that's like, it was also like a peak period because Cancer's a cardinal sign. It was also like, yeah, I mean, I would say like around March of 2020, like I was just saying, like it started earlier. Like I actively started putting effort into changing my life. Like I had hit rock bottom and I was just like, girl, you need to change your life. And I actually started putting in effort into my life, like what I wanted to do. Like around that time, I for sure like started making changes in my life. Like I put that effort in and it shows right there during a peak period. Like I don't know what you guys want to know. Like that, it's obvious, it's evident. And yeah, so then we can go back and we can look at the law of Eros. And the law of Eros represents love and relationships. And this is what you guys have been wanting. You guys have been wanting to know this tea. And of course I saved the best for last. I'm literally giving you guys extra information. I should be charging for this, and I might. But for now, I'm feeling generous. So you already know what it's about. Okay, so my lot of Eros is in the sign of Pisces. So we know now that Pisces is a mutable sign, so that all of my peak periods for my law of Eros will be in mutable signs, and preparatory period will be in fixed signs. Once again, like the law of fortune. So, anywhom, let me find an example if I have one, right? Mutable, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I haven't really had like that many relationships, so I don't think it would really show up on here. Like when I mean boyfriend, I mean like online fling. It was kind of a mess. But actually I did. Oh my God, that's actually crazy. I had a middle school dance when I was about 13, where I like first asked out a boy for the first time. And that did actually happen. And it's actually showing up on here during immutable time, which is like pretty crazy. Anyway, so where am I now? I am here and I am in I don't even know. Hold on, I'm getting confused. Yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, it doesn't really show that I'm going to be entering in any big moments yet. But where was the thing when I was talking about? Yeah, so 2030, that's what I was talking about with marriage in the beginning. 2030, like that is a big year. It's a major peak period. And so, yeah. And then when I was talking about with like, you can also kind of get more into detail with this by like what sign is like in your house, right? So Gemini rules my first house. So that like year is kind of going to be about me because I'm a Gemini rising. And when I was saying like, I mean, yeah, it's like you can kind of go into more detail with that. Let me think of like an example. Like right now, where are we now? It's tomorrow. I mean, yeah, so Capricorn is my 8th house. And recently I've been doing so much introspective thinking about like what I want and setting boundaries and like really creating my standards and what I want in a relationship for the past few months. And that's very 8th house energy. And that's like, this has been like the Capricorn, that's my 8th house of what like period I'm in right now, according to zodiacal releasing. So it's like, it kind of corresponds with that. And you can kind of like loosely base it on things. So Aquarius rules my 9th house. So starting tomorrow, I suppose, it's kind of like, it could be, bear with me here. Also, I want to mention that Venus and Mars are now in Aquarius, which is trine my sun. And now this is also Aquarius. So that could mean something. Aquarius is kind of like about like being unique and being humanitarian and like being yourself. And Aquarius is in the 9th house, which rules like higher knowledge and all that stuff. So this could be like maybe me, it could be me, 9th house represents like foreign travels. So it could be me experiencing new things. I've never actually had like, I've only had like online boyfriends in the past. So now I'm ready for something real. And it's kind of like, well, besides that middle school one, it lasted like 2 days. But anyways, it's like Aquarius entering this new era. It's, Aquarius represents like foreign things and learning. And so maybe I meet someone and I'm just like thrown into this new world. And it's also about like looking with like other sorts of astrology to correspond. So like I said, like right now, Venus and Mars are conjunct my sun, well, in the same house basically. And that's like highlighting love and passion. And with this, a lot of Eros being in the sign of Aquarius, this could like actually indicate me meeting someone and entering a new relationship because those sort of concepts are foreign and I would be learning a lot as I go. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of just look into this really. You're going to have to do research on your own. This was just like really pretty basic things. So it's like, maybe you look through and you see like, I don't know, what rules my 8th house? Yeah, so like I could have a kid 2026. I hope I don't. But it's like all these sort of things you can kind of look through. You could like kind of like go back and forth with whatever. Personally, I've seen the most success and like things I've seen like the most like powerful, like, oh my God, moments with my lot of fortune and my lot of spirit, but this is also could be accurate for you. I personally find that transit charts are really accurate as well. Maybe it's just because I know more about them, but yeah. So this video was quite frankly like freakishly long. But maybe you like that. Maybe you like this kind of stuff. I mean, if you want to know more and you want some clarifiers, please comment it. Like if I can't clarify in a comment, I'll make like a TikTok or YouTube short or whatever just for you guys. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you like it was for me. And if you like this video, I beg you, please like and subscribe and engage with this video, because it'll help me out. It'll help me push my knowledge out into the world. It'll help me become famous. If you're interested, you can book a one-on-one manifestation coaching session with me. Link is in the description box. And if you're interested in manifesting money, I also have a really, really basic money affirmation manifestation how-to guide. It's only like $2 and it'll change your life. It's got so many good affirmations there. So if you're interested, you can actually purchase in the link in the description box. So yeah, cool. Maybe I'll offer some astrology services soon. I don't know. Would that be fun? Would you be interested in that? Comment down below. Yeah, hope you guys have a slay day. I hope you guys find out when you're going to meet your future hubbies, your future wives, your future partners. I hope you know when you're going to have a child. I hope this video was helpful and kind of helping you guys out with the obsessiveness. Like, I get you. Sometimes you just got to know. And sometimes you got to sit in your computer for hours and be like, oh, okay. So it's going to be then, so I have to do this, that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Love you guys. Bye-bye.